buying a 34,000 Rand iPhone, but yet you've got nothing saved up in your emergency fund. I'm talking about you spending 1 million on a car when you have no investments. This is the video for all of my girls who are ambitious, my sisters that are ambitious, but you find yourself in a repeating cycle of making decisions that is contrary to that ambition, particularly decisions when it comes to your finances. Just a PSA, my hands, well, it looks much better now, but my fingernails, as I speak throughout the video, you'll notice that there is these black marks. It's just dye. I dyed my hair and my hands were black. It was way worse than this. So please do not know that it's some funny weird things. No, the only thing that is on my fingernails is remnants of dye that I'm still trying to get out. Okay, as you are working towards your goals, you're going to find yourself, or something that happened to me a lot is, as I'm working towards my goals, as I am going through my daily life, I was surrounded by people that, peer pressure is a thing, man. And sometimes if you're not careful, that peer pressure will make you make decisions that deter you from your original goals. And I want to talk particularly to my sisters. Listen, we all know that pretty privilege is a thing. We all know that that maintenance is expensive. And when you see other people trying things, you also want to try it out, rightfully so. But the thing is when you start when you start spending a lot of money that you do not have, or money that you cannot afford to be spending, and your spending habits do not reflect your investment goals or your financial goals, that is when it becomes a problem. Let me break this down and speak in simple English. Babes, I'm talking about you buying a 5,000 Rand wig, and yet you've got no investments. I'm talking about you buying a 34,000 Rand iPhone, but yet you've got nothing saved up in your emergency fund. I'm talking about you spending ridiculous amounts of money, going into debt for you to look rich. I'm talking about you spending 1 million on a car when you have no investments. My darling, why? But I am well aware that decisions like this often come from a lack of knowledge. So that's why I am here. We're gonna learn through this together. A rule that I have for myself is I am not allowed to spend more than I am not allowed to spend more money on soft life than what I invest. Let me break that down. If there's an opportunity, okay, I am not allowed, if let's say per year I invest 10,000 Rand, right? I am not allowed to spend more than 10,000 Rand on enjoyment. So let's say there's a new wig that I want to get. I am not allowed, I will stop myself from buying that wig if it exceeds that 10,000 Rand. So initially, because I am able to, I find it much more easily to be financially disciplined, because I know, I don't really struggle with denying myself short term in terms of getting things. I've never had a problem with that. So that's why I can be a lot more stricter with myself. For example, there was an opportunity that came for me to go on this trip. And this trip was, I can't remember how much it was, but I'm gonna put arbitrary figures for it. So let's say the trip all in all would have costed 12,000 Rand. And this is from accommodation to transport to food, right? This is just the estimated cost, and then actually going there, you need snacks for the road. So let's make it around 13K for this entire trip. But I knew that if I would calculate how much I invest every month and then times that by the entire year, I would, let's say I would invest like 8,000 rand. For me, it was like, why am I spending more on enjoyment on Soft Life more than I am investing? That just didn't make sense, and it was extremely tough for me, but I had to let that trip go. I had to say, I'm sorry, but I can't join you guys on this one because I need to teach myself financial discipline. And it was tough, but I declined. That's just one of my examples. The reason being is you need to learn, if you are ambitious and you know that one day you are going to live a life that the 99% of the population does not live, you need to be okay with doing things that 99% of the population will not do. You need to be comfortable with saying no to things that 99% of the population will not say no to. Even if you know that you can afford it, still building that discipline and saying no, because you know that the money that you would have used, that 13K, I could easily invest it in the stock market, I could invest it in land, I could invest it in properties. And after a course of a couple of months, even a couple of years, that money would have gone from 13K to like 15K. You see? So I've now made an extra 2,000 just by being financially disciplined and saying no and putting it in the right place, compared to if I went out for enjoyment and I went out on that trip. That money would have been gone and never come back again. You need to learn how to make decisions short term that are going to make more sense long term. And it all comes back to delayed gratification. This whole topic was inspired by one of the elders at my church that did Sabbath school, and he spoke about this yesterday. And it really struck a chord because it reminded me that financial discipline is one of the most important things in life. And for an example, it reminded me of something that recently happened, and I didn't really think to link the two, but it made a lot of sense. I always talk about building an emergency fund. So slowly but surely, I started building mine. And you have no idea the peace and the security that comes when you are just moving in life. You move life differently, knowing that no matter what happens, no matter what emergencies come your way, you have money that is set aside that is going to cover those emergencies. You don't, like, you guys, I walk lighter, I breathe lighter, I sleep better knowing that whatever happens, I've got money that is tucked away. Granted, it's not a lot of money. Again, I'm still a student, I'm still a baby, I'm still a kid. So it's not a lot, but it's there. And I'm slowly building it more and more as time goes on. And you know, when you've got you're sitting with like your last 100 rand in your account, and you're praying that your tires don't break, you're praying that nothing breaks, you're praying that there's enough food in the kitchen, because you know that if something breaks, you do not have the money to cover it. How does this link to Soft Life and managing Soft Life? My babes, if you are going to groove and you're going to enjoy life, enjoy, but go with a budget. I know people don't like budgeting, but you need to at least do things in life that start building habits that are in line with the person that you want to become. It's the one thing that I keep on saying here on this channel. If you know that you want to get better, start by get better financially. Start by building an emergency fund. That is the easiest place to start. Literally, it is the easiest place to start. Before you even start investing, or before you even start buying land or whatever, have an emergency fund, because you're human and you're going through life, and life is full of emergencies that are just waiting to happen. If you are a fellow student like me, how I got started is when I would let's say I go shopping and I expect or I plan or I assume that I am going to spend 500 rand, right? And I get there, or there's a discount and there's a sale, and I end up spending 300 rand. That 200, don't go buy food with it, or wait. Don't go and spend it frivolously. Since you already intended and you already budgeted on spending that 500 rand, rather take that extra 200 rand and then you put it in your emergency account. What I would do is, what I recommend people doing is open more than one bank account. You know that one particular bank, that bank is just going to be for your emergency fund only. That's where your money for your emergency fund is, and then you keep that separate from your account that you use for your day-to-day activities and your day-to-day purchases. And anytime you save money, if you plan on going to Cotton On and there's a sale and you end up spending 700 rand instead of 1,500 rand, that extra 800 rand, put it to your emergency fund. If you plan on, even if it is as little as 20 rand, guys, if you continuously, that 20 rand would turn into 100 rand, and that 100 rand would turn into 1,000 rand, and next 10,000. It's just small micro steps. The whole point is that you need to start. Linking this to the beginning, right? After you have your emergency fund set up, now you can start investing. Yeah? With this, a rule of thumb is whatever amount you need to decide for yourself that if you are willing to spend 50% of your money on Groove, then you must be able to save 50%. If you don't want it to be in those equal ratios, then you could say, okay, since you're still starting out, you could say if you spend 2 rand, if you spend 6 rand at Groove or 6 rand for Soft Life, and when I say Soft Life, I mean trips, I mean Groove if you groove, I mean just things that make life nicer, right? If you spend 6 rand on that, then you should say, okay, I'm gonna spend at least 2 rand investing. You need to have those ratios set up for yourself, and it'll make life so much more easier, because now you know that you are not allowed to exceed a certain amount. So for me, it's like I stopped myself from investing more or spending more than I invest. And when I say spending, I mean spending on enjoyment and Soft Life more than I invest. That is just something that I have found that has really helped me to be more financially disciplined. And the pain of you not missing out, or the pain of you missing out, is much more smaller compared to the pain of you not hitting the goals that you want to achieve, or compared to you ending up in an emergency because now you don't have an emergency fund. So yeah, man, you need to really think, and is this the 35,000 rand phone really worth it? Or can I at least get a 25,000 rand phone and then use the extra 10,000 rand, put it away as my emergency fund? Or I put that and I invest it. There needs to be some sort of a balance. And again, please note that this does not constitute as financial advice. These are just lessons that I've learned as a girl who's trying to be better, and a girl who is very ambitious in this life and wants nothing but the best for herself. I hope you liked it, and if you resonate with this content, do not forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you found any sort of value in this type of content, let me know and I will continue to post it. Thank you for listening so much. Don't forget, God loves you, and yeah.